Hi, I'm Sarah, the designer for JewelrySupply.com. In this next video, I'm going to show you how to insert a saw blade into a saw frame. In order to do the sawing technique correctly, first you need to understand the tools that you'll be using. This right here is item number SW314, or our 4-inch saw frame, and I have two examples of saw blades. This one that I've already started inserting into the saw frame, as you can see right here, is item number SW140, or our AUT4 saw blade. This other blade that I have off here to my left is a number 1 blade, item number SW101. The difference between the 1 blade and the AUT4 blade, of course, is the thickness of the blade itself, but also in how many teeth are on the blade. A smaller blade results in more teeth, which gives you a much more detailed, precise cut when you're trying to saw through sheet metal. A thicker blade, like this number 1, will give you a faster cut, and maybe not so detailed. So if you are trying to get in close to make very tight corners or very detailed designs, use a smaller blade. That'll work out much better for you. Like I said before, I did insert one end of the blade into the saw frame, and they're held nice and tight by this wing nut right here. So I've loosened up on the wing nut, stuck the one end of the saw blade in between the plastic insert and the metal frame itself, and then tightened down on the wing nut. Now I do have one other end over here that's roaming free. So in order to secure that one down, I'm going to loosen up this wing nut, and then if I try to pull it apart with my fingertips, you'll see that this plastic insert will stay open. Simply drop the saw blade in between that plastic insert and the frame, and then tighten down on the wing nut. As you can see, look at the blade as I'm tightening down on the wing nut. See how it starts to bow? The easiest way to correct that is to come to the back of the frame. There's another wing nut, and this one controls the length of the back of the saw frame. Loosen up on the wing nut. Either lengthen or shorten the frame. And you see how the blade changes as I'm doing this? Make sure that the blade is nice and tight, that it's running straight and parallel to the back of the frame. And then tighten down on this wing nut. Double check, of course, before you start sawing to make sure that your blade is properly inserted. And a quick way to do that, and without a lot of pressure of course, is to run the tip of your finger down the saw blade towards the handle. Now, because all of your strokes are done on the downstroke, it's very important that all of your teeth are pointed down, or the teeth are pointed towards the handle. No sawing is done on the upstroke. All of it is done on the downstroke. So that should mean when you run your finger back up, you should feel the points of the saw blade. Now, do you hear that note? That also means that your saw blade is in the frame nice and tight. If it starts to make weird noises, or if it starts to flex as you're sawing, recheck all of your wing nuts and make sure that everything's in line. Now remember, as you are sawing, chances are you'll wind up breaking a few of these blades. Don't worry. We do sell them in packs of 12, and it's always just a given that you will snap a couple of these along the way, which is why it's also very important that you have your safety goggles on hand as well. If you do that, you'll be able to perform this technique just fine each and every time.